The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Live from the Michigan International Speedway, it is the B&Z Lawn Landscaping Truck Series with the United Sim Racing League here with coverage of with LSRTV here. I'm Austin Pugh alongside Gary Weaver, and then we've got Cisco Scarmuza in the production trailer giving us the picture and letting us see all the great camera angles that we're going to see here. There's going to be a lot of camera angles here at a track like this because it is Michigan, a 2-mile oval. One of the sister tracks is at a 2 miles oval, and this is a big track, completely different than what was just going on the flip side at Five Flags not too long ago. So we go from about half a mile to about 4 times that with the 2 mile track here tonight. So a lot of fun, a lot of high speeds, and we're going to see these trucks do what they really haven't done all season, and basically have drafting be a really big part in the back straightaway and in the corners. It's not going to be there at all. They're going to have to really, well, not like it's going to be non-existent, but these corners are going to be really crucial for these drivers, and tire wear is so important at a track like this here, Gary.
Yeah, especially with the right front tire. For me, personal experience, I can definitely say that a truck at Michigan and the right front tire, not really good friends. I will say that. I've had my instances with a wall, and it was never fun. I've actually won here once too, so that was relieving.
Winning is never a bad thing, right, Gary? And I'll tell you that getting a win at any track here on the schedule is especially with these guys, is really fun to do, but it's not easy to do because we've only had 4 drivers this season win races, and they'll be on your points. They'll be on your point grid right here as we're showing you. Points are going to be up there, and you're going to see who looks at the top of the standings. Well, it's going to be no other than Jamie Walker, who won last week. He has won 3 times this season, and he goes back-to-back last 2 weeks, and in a great fashion. So he leads the points by 46 points over Aaron Bennett. That's almost a full race worth of points over a win for him. So then you've got Aaron Bennett second. Justin Michael finds himself still in third. He's won 2 races. And then you've got Bobby Terrell, who is going to be 4th in points. 5th is Scott Simley, and he's kind of been going up towards the front every once in a while. Then you've got Michael Atkins Jr., who lost 2 positions this past week, so she's going to try and get those back. Scott Formosa, Rich Jetty, Matt Mara, and Tim Matthews rounds out your top 10, with Seth the Merchant and Chris Cabot in the 11th and 12th position. Then you're looking at Robert Gillenwater, Christian Peterson, and Greg Mall, who are on the outside looking in. They are not in the chase, which will happen only in 4 weeks' time. So we've got today, Bristol, Darlington, Indy. Man, it's come quickly. These 17 Saturdays that we've had with these guys, and we're getting really close to that chase time already.
Yeah, Bristol's going to be really interesting to watch, though. It's pretty much as I personally like to call it, and from other experiences, a mini demolition derby, except it's more of a last man standing, if you will, if you want to be a little bit more forgiving to Bristol. But yeah, Michigan, Bristol, and Indy are the last 3, pretty much 4 races in this case, as we have not really yet started or finished Michigan. So 4 more races left, and then we go all the way from Vegas, Richmond, Watkins Glen, Dover, Talladega, Kansas, Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, and then finally at Homestead. It's a long time away, but next thing you know, once we're at Homestead, you're going to be wondering, wait, weren't we just at Michigan?
Yeah, it's definitely the case. And so these guys on the outside looking in, it's really important. I think this is the race we're going to start looking at those drivers. One driver in particular, I think we're going to need to watch or two drivers, and we always watch them every single race just to see if they're going to be able to do it. Is Christian Peterson and Greg Mall. In Robert McGillenwater, he got a position last week, so this is getting to be a pretty tight race. There's 19 points between the cutoff line between Chris Cabot and Robert Gillenwater, and there's 10 points more back to Peterson and only 12 more for Greg Mall. Greg Mall has done an amazing job at the long races with the long, with the big speedways with long runs. So this track typically tends to bring long runs, and if it doesn't, you're eventually going to see him because the cars are not going to be there competing against each other to make those cautions happen. So qualifying has wrapped up, and Bobby Terrell, he will get, I do believe, his first pole of the season. Gonna validate that. That is actually not true. It'll be his second pole on the season. His first was at Atlanta, where he actually wrecked out. So hopefully his luck changed for the better for his sake. And so he will start on the pole. He was the only driver to get under the 40.4s with a 40.395. Justin Michael starts hitting his outside, and Scott Formosa will start from third. Jamie Walker will start in the fourth position. Really good starting position for him off of last week's win. Michael Atkins Jr. will start himself in the top 5. Dwayne Dunn starts 6th. Scott Sidley will start 7th with Robert Gillenwater starts 8th. Tommy Ryan will start in the 9th position, and then James Nunn starts in the top 10.
Starting 11th will be Matt Morrow, and Chris Cabot will be starting to his outside in 12th position. Next row we have starting in 13th, Christian Peterson, and of course John Jenkins to his outside in 14th. Shane Hawthor rounds out your top 15. And of course Jeff Ryan going to be starting that 16th through 20th. He's going to be starting 16th as Jeff Ryan. 17th is going to be Kyle Menger. 17th, Joe Hudson in a really familiar looking car, I will say that. Square T is really, really interesting. We've been talking about that prior. And of course, Rich Jett and Randy Yoakum will be rounding out 19th and top 20.
Another familiar paint scheme with the number 30 of Lewis Robinette's that Havoline, I almost said Ricky Craven, inspired paint scheme. That would have been bad, but look, Aaron Bennett's going to start his outside, and that's actually pretty interesting because Aaron Bennett almost starts at the front in almost all these races, so this will be fun to see him go from the back to the front. Then Greg Mall starts behind him in 23rd, someone who almost always doesn't qualify. And then Brandon Cutts, he will start from 24th. Ralph Vandervorst will start from 25th. Michael Preece 26th. George Hendrick 27th. Michael Moore will start 28th. John Wilco 29th. And Steve Herring will round out this 30 truck field. Again, we are at the Michigan International Speedway. 2 miles long, 4 turns with some massive banking here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, of course, to see pace car speed 70 miles an hour, thankfully, so we're not going that slow. Of course, track temperature is at the really Arizona, like 103 degrees. I know that degrees personally. It's not fun, but nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys go from probably about 180 or 190, sometimes maybe even 200 miles an hour, all the way down to your pit road speed, which is 55 miles an hour, especially if we do manage to get green flag runs. These guys may be taking at least 2 pit stops for fuel.
Yeah, I see only 2 pit stops necessary for this run, but we'll probably see more if anyone has any issues there on the track, any spin outs or anything like that to cause. So again, 18-degree bankings, and then 12 on the front stretch, 5 on the back stretch. So that's really important to note here tonight before we go green. Glad to have you along here on LSRTV for our back-to-back races. It's always fun to see 2 disciplines of racing going at it right next to each other on the schedule. So thank you for joining us, and we'll have a fun night of racing ahead of us. 100 laps here at the Michigan International Speedway, and we are about to get the green flag here. And there goes Bobby Terrell. Great start from him, almost immediately out of the gate, and he's going to get himself a 1 truck length. We are racing here for 100 laps.
A lot of side-by-side scrambling for whatever lane they can get to heading into turn number 1. It's going to be interesting. You can see some people not really utilizing that very bottom lane. 3 wide I'm seeing between the 39, the 4, and the 68. at least semi 3 wide. Now 68 is going to fall back in behind the 4 of Bob Gillenwater. So side by side between those two, the 4 and the 39 for that, I believe, that 5th place position. Going to double check JRT just to make sure. And of course, familiar looking number 2, at least for me, because now I know that it's not actually a Jeff Gordon paint scheme, as that says Pepsi and not DuPont.
Yeah, I think it's one of those custom paint schemes that they have on these machines as they get single file. Really cool to see that these guys have some inspired paint schemes, and a lot of these have these guys have a lot of original paint schemes here as we're getting ourselves through turn number 2. And looks like the battle for position is going to be for 3rd. It's going to be the 88 of Jamie Walker, who's on an absolute tear right now, and he's on the bottom on the number 88 here throughout the corners. And early in the race, you know, we see a lot of side-by-side battles throughout the season, and normally this would be a high anticipated moment, but this is a track you're going to see side-by-side action quite a bit, but they're going to be laying off each other, not going to be pushing it too much. You're going to see Jamie be real easy in the corner entry here. He's just going to try and really make sure he gets himself not too much tire wear, but also get enough speed, which is, you know, it's a hard taxing thing to do. Also, the 88, oh, there goes the 80 in the wall, actually. So I may have spoke too soon about the action getting a little intense, but Scott Formosa is able to make sure that car does not get too much into the outside wall. It's actually a truck, but you get the gist of it. So top 5 still as follows as they qualified. Robert Gillenwater, what a start for him. 2 positions already. Just looking at the back gate of the 14 car truck, and yeah, single file really already. And I think the next battle you're going to start looking for is Dwayne Dunn. He's laying the number 5 by. That's Chris Cabot. He's up a couple positions too now. 3, and Dwayne Dunn, he's kind of fallen back. I don't know if this is by design, but I think he has just been rolling the outside, not really trying to push anything for him.
Yeah, he's making. If he's doing that though, then that's good. Even if it isn't by design, at least it gives him a chance to take a little bit of a break and try and figure out what he can do and what lines he can run. Of course, you can see it's not the traditional arc into the corners. You know, you take the high lane going in, as you can see him actually making use of the apron, and then of course the 5 and 75 also doing that. You're going to be seeing that also. You're also going to be seeing the use of the apron for passes as well, but you can see the traditional arc into the corner is being used, but it's not being used all the way to the bottom, and that's most likely and usually to prevent tire wear to at least your right front tire, because the least you slide up, then the more you can save your tires. As the 88 was on the back bumper of the 80 hanging into the corner just a little bit, he was peeking out. That's Jamie Walker on the 88. 80 is going to be Scott Formosa. So of course you're probably going to be seeing that too, especially if some people are a little bit impatient, but maybe they're just going to say, maybe that's just their way of saying, hey, I'm faster than you, but I'm just going to wait here and wait for the right moment to pass.
Well, we're on board with Jeff Ryan there for a little bit, and I noticed he already has rear end damage. I know it's not one of the most concerning things out there on the field, but he does have rear end damage, and I went and looked. That's at the very beginning of the race where he got hit, and that was by none other than our Square D machine, Joe Hudson. And Joe's going to have a hard night at the very beginning of this race because he has front end damage. This is a hard track to have damage at. In order to be fast. It's so aerodynamically important to try and keep your car or your truck as clean as possible, so it's going to be really difficult for him as you start to look throughout the field. And looks like Shane Hawthorne's trying to get on the outside of Kyle Manger. Kyle Manger trying to get on the bottom of him, and I've seen Kyle in a lot of leagues lately. I haven't seen him much of lately, but he's joined us for RSR this season, I think. I saw him yesterday in the Super Speedway Cup Series, and here he is tonight. He's in a lot of leagues around the LSRT community, as it looks like we may have a battle for the lead here, actually. Looks like Justin Michaels going on the bottom side of the 14 of Bobby Terrell. And I think he's going to be able to get the job done, but the momentum slides to the 14 on the exit of the corner. But we will have our first lead change officially at the line, as the 87 will lead his first lap of the day. 87 is going to try and get a good arc in the corner so he can get free of the 14's grasp. And then the 2 behind him are also doing battles. So 2 battles for 4 positions. And this one settles out, but the one behind him doesn't. Jamie Walker still going for the 3rd position under the number 80. And Jamie Walker's been going at it pretty much the whole time. But once they started fighting in front of him, I think he decided it was time to go for him. But that inside is not an easy place to pass.
he did take advantage of that inside of that momentum that the pass is being used for the draft as well. Definitely a factor, as looks like Scott Formosa is going to be stuck on the outside in a way pretty much out of the draft, but also in a way he's in it as well. At least right here he is. So they're going to be really close heading into turn one. That was close, and luckily nothing bad happened coming of that. But now Michael Atkins Jr. is right on the inside, and not anymore, as Formosa manages to get away from that. Goodness, that could have been terrible.
Well, the weird thing about it was the fact that Jamie Walker didn't normally take that kind of arc in the corner. Formosa was taking a pretty steady approach as he did last time. I think he got loose out of that corner actually just now, maybe just a tiny bit, which is not good to see from him, or maybe that was just the way I was looking at it. But yeah, the 80 went into the corner a little bit higher, which I think he did that on purpose because I think he wanted that position a little bit more. But here comes the 80. Look at how much momentum he's got through the corner. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it up, but it looks like he gained up a bunch of ground back on the 88 right there, as he is still trying to get his third position back. Look behind him, Robert Gillenwater. Look at him, 8th to 6th, trying to get another one, trying to get in the top 5. He did not have a good week last week. Him and the 2 are really close there on the track, but the 2, I think, just overdrove a tiny bit and slid up the track. And maybe Scott... Oh, look at Robert Gillenwater! 3 wide is what we're going to be with Scott simply going to the bottom. What a save, though. But he's going to get passed by 2 drivers, maybe 3 before this one's over. The 2 got by him, the 68 got by him, and now the 6 of Tommy Ryan. Haven't talked about him all day. He's probably going to get around the outside. Wow, what a save. What a save from the 4.
I really want to say that could have been a lot worse again, but yes, I'll say it to just sound like a broken record. That could have been a lot worse. You're probably going to be hearing that a lot tonight from me. I will admit that, as the 5 of Chris Gabot is going to be falling back on the outside, actually. He's not getting passed by the 23 of Christian Peterson, who is slowly making his way up. Of course, everyone else, I'd say the front 9 or so, are pretty much single file and singled out, as we have a little bit of a backpack, the backpack right now, 22 and 25 side by side. Matt Morrow on the high side right now, Colin Mingo on the low side, trying to get whatever momentum they can for that 12th place position, and he gets that position cleanly. As a battle behind them as well between John Jenkins and 75 James Nunn. That's also going to sort itself out as well.
Yeah, we start to look through the back, or the front of this backpack. I was thinking of a certain tune I actually can't sing on here because of copyright reasons, but Christian Peterson leading this little charge here. He's obviously a fast guy, someone you need to beat, but he needs to have just a good race. He doesn't need to have a stellar race. He needs to have 4 good races in the next few weeks to make it into the chase, because there's a lot of guys who are not going to miss any races anytime soon. Try and keep themselves into that picture of being in the playoffs, and right now he is not in. And those drivers in front of him include Robert Gillenwater, who's the next driver in front of him, and then also include Chris Gabot. Chris Gabot, I don't think he is here tonight. Actually, yeah, he is. He's in the 12th position, or the 10th position. So yeah, he's right behind him. I can't believe I just missed him. He just passed him.
Oh goodness, Colin.
Yeah.
Sorry. Jeez, that was close.
Yeah, he just passed him, and wow, yeah, a lot of action.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. I thought he got loose for a second. That's why I freaked out. So
yeah, this is actually getting intense there. Dwayne Dunn almost ran into the back of the 22 right there as well. That was a little bit more anticipated.
Goodness. All right. Well, that was an interesting half a lap of almost pure insanity. Here comes Colin Mango to the inside of Chris Gabot right now, to the inside, and of course at the same time 22 and 39 will be doing battle right behind them. That's going to sort itself out. All right, Chris Gabot's going to get loose coming out of turn number 4, saves it, manages and uses that apron to his advantage as well.
We've seen that a couple times today. Basically 3 wide here to the long front stretch ovalness of the front stretch, and that didn't really make much sense, but you get the picture. And the 5's going to dive down to the bottom, but I think Chris Gabot has lost the tires on that thing. I don't think he's lost handle, because I think he's got a good grip on what the car or what the truck's able to do at the beginning of a run. But man, he has I think, just overdriven the truck right now as he's letting a lot of guys go by, and then 2 drivers behind him, the 3 of Aaron Bennett, and there's the 75 of James Nunn. Actually, yeah, the 75 of James Nunn. They've got some fast trucks through here, and they're going to try and take advantage of the number 5 having some issues. And if you were him, or if you're anybody on the pit crew or any teammate, just whenever the pit window opens, come down, because that 5 needs those tires already on lap 16. He's going to only lose spots from here on out at this rate. So got to monitor the number 5 as the night rolls on, and so we'll hope he's able to hold on to it throughout the rest of the night. As look in front of him, Aaron Bennett, quiet night for him as he did not start towards the front. He's going to try and prove that he can make it throughout the field. He's gone from 22nd to 15th tonight.
Amazing job by him, and of course, you did mention that I believe maybe the 5 he may have overdrove coming out of turn number 4 there, maybe just a wrong line coming out just to that one so much as an inch is the wrong line. Ooh, goodness, Matt Martin nearly making contact with the outside wall. I'm not sure if that's intended for his exit, but he's still actually in front, so that may have been his intended exit, but nonetheless, it just depends on whatever line that you run, that you have to be careful with your throttle control and your steering, because one wrong moment and one wrong either steering or throttle control, one wrong little blip of it, next thing you know you're around. As James Nunn actually has lost position to Chris. Not sure, I believe the 75 got loose coming out of turn number 2 there.
Oh, looks like Brian Cutts is in the back straight wall, and he just got off of it. Oh, I think he's going to spin out. Yes, he's going to spin out, but this isn't going to bring out a caution. He's going to be spun out on the backstretch, but no caution will be issued because he's off the racing surface. And so he's going to get that truck, I think, getting going as the leaders are going to be coming into turns 1 and 2. He's going to try and get that machine rolling and out of the way here pretty soon as leaders coming through turns 1 and 2 on the backstretch now as you're seeing them. Also, look at the battle behind them. Jamie Walker is actually going to let Scott Formosa have the outside here in turns number 3 and 4. This ought to be fun to watch with those two still battling for position. Scott Formosa went back on the charge in the 88, and I think he's going to get the job done. The 2 might be able to do it too, but here comes the 88 with a lot of momentum out of turn number 4 on the bottom side, which you don't see typically too much. There goes the 2. He's going to thread the needle. Here he comes. Michael Atkins Jr. is going to make this one really interesting here for a top 5 position. And he's still there, still 3 wide, 80 on the top, 2 in the middle, 88 on the bottom. Atkins Jr. has the best line here, at least in my opinion, because the 80 is going to wash up just a little bit, a little loose in the 2, and wow, 88's the big loser here. Loses not only 1 position, but he loses 3 positions on that one in one fell turner.
He was so close, and unfortunately, he just wasn't close enough. Didn't have the momentum, and apparently what happened to the 04 is the 2 is actually a little bit loose by the looks of it. Yeah, it's wiggled just a little bit in the middle of turn 4 right there. It was very, very small, so just that small wiggle can do anything deadly to you, as Tommy Ryan actually did a great job taking advantage of that. But Brian Cutts, of course, got into the wall coming out of turn number 2, dove it down to the inside just to get off the track, and well, he wasn't pit road last time I checked. I believe he still is. Yeah, he's actually just coming out pit road right now on the apron of turns 1 and 2, so he's still going, thankfully, but of course not without a bit of right side damage. And speaking of which, I think the 22 got a little bit, no he didn't, it just looks like, oh, he swerved away from that. Matt Mara, great avoidance there.
Starting to look at those drivers that are on the cut line. Michael Atkins Jr. gets a little loose right in front of the 6 of Tommy Ryan, who he let up a little bit. With all this fighting, has brought Christian Peterson back into the mix of it. He's going to look to the inside of Scott Simley, and he's one of those drivers that we're going to watch. We're going to in his few once this calms down a little bit, because it's a little hectic here. I'm going to look at where your playoff drivers, your chase drivers are going to be at. Oh, Peterson gets a little tight off the corner, but he's able to make sure he doesn't hit the 88. Both those drivers extremely talented. Actually, this pack of 3 right here, all incredible drivers in this series, and they all have. Well, 2 of the drivers have been in the series a while. Christian Peterson, I'm pretty sure this is his first season with them. If it hasn't been his first in a while. We got 1 driver down pit road. That's Bobby Terrell. And is he going to get down to pit speed? He is. It's 50 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, so he's well under. And he'll be the first of many to come down pit road. Do believe that Dwayne Dunn came down pit road as well. So this will be the start of pit road cycles. I think it's a little early for these drivers, but got to remember these guys do have that limited fuel cell.
Yeah, that's something you have to plan to effect there and try and figure out. For me, it would just be stretch as much as you can, but Oh my goodness. Can we, I'm pretty sure I was about to say, can we have at least one lap where we're not deadly close to spinning out or wrecking?
We're getting there now. We're getting there now.
Yeah, we're at least, okay, it's at least one lap, and well, pit stop still on count. Sky from most of the pit road right now, and 2 other cars following him. Christian Peterson, Jamie Walker also following suit. And oh, the 5 is going to spin out. Chris Cabot into the inside wall, just the smallest bit. Oh, that's going to, it's almost going to spin it out again, and he does. Trying to keep, oh, and now some left rear damage. He's trying to get back going as quick as possible, but that just played to his downfall.
And that's one problem becoming another, and not slowing down and taking it slow once you make a mistake. And I'll tell you, that's a lot easier said than done. He just missed his pit box, by the way. Yeah, he missed his pit box.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
His pit box too. Yeah.
Well. So replay coming up and showing you exactly what happened. He's coming down pit road, but he's gonna have to come down again. That's really unfortunate for him, and he's gonna come back and look at the replay and probably want to smack us for covering it, but it was really unfortunate. Hits that inside wall, and then he tries to get going again, just swings the tail out and overcorrects on pit road. And I think it was mostly frustrating for him to have that happen. So he gets rolling again with all these pit cycles. Sadly, no cautions down pit road. Basically, once you're under the white line, that's a no caution zone. So really, these guys will have a long ways to go here in this race, and the 5's going to have a long night at this rate. As I'm looking down pit road, Robert Gillenwater, he's coming off pit road. Aaron Bennett coming down pit road, and I do believe our leader is coming down pit road. The number 87 of Justin Michael has made his way down pit road, so we'll watch him as he crosses the start-finish line right now, and he's going to go to the very end, but not the tippy tip end, but just 3 or 2 short here, as he's going to make his service for his machine.
In this pit box he goes, and so does the 2. I believe somebody overshot their pit box, and that was Tommy Ryan. He overshot just by a small bit. He had to back up just about ½ inch. Oh man. Well, nonetheless, as Chris Cabos is actually down in the way right now, so is the number 87 of Justin Michael. He's down in the way, but unfortunately for Chris Cabot, I'm not sure if he just kept it going or just didn't repair all the damage. Maybe he did, but he's probably just going to try and run with that and see what he can do with that. Unfortunately, it's not his night so far. He does have roughly about 75 more laps to make that up and see if he can do anything with that, but honestly, I don't think he can.
Look at these drivers down pit road. So far, I've seen no one except for the 5 of Chris Cabot really have any big issues. I think so far tonight, these drivers have really been able to make their way into pit road nicely. I think Scott Simley had an extremely long pit stall or pit road stop there. I'm not sure, but it looked like he had to take right sides again or something like that. I'm really quite unsure as he came down pit road. But Greg Mall, see him down pit road. He had a lot of damage earlier on in this race, and it happened around lap 17. So this is not a race he needed to go this way because he's on the outside looking into the chase. And so as he's still down pit road, he's probably going to go laps down as he's trying to get that damage fixed. But currently, Scott Simley, or not Scott Simley, Bobby Terrell will lead this thing coming to the stripe. So basically, this has cycled all the pit stalls through, or pits. Goodness, this is cycled pit road pretty much through everybody here. And so Bobby Terrell, he's one of the first drivers to come down pit road, so it makes sense that he'll be towards the front. And so he's 2.5 seconds in front of Scott Formosa, and then Scott Formosa is about 2 seconds in front of Christian Peterson in 3rd place. So that's how your top 3 looks right now. And then you've got Justin Michael and Dwayne McDunn looking at your top 5 here. So as we roll off to lap 25 in the quarter part of this race, we will take a step aside here, and we'll be back in just a moment with all your coverage here at Michigan with LSRTV.
Hi, I'm Ryan Preece. I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity cars. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds. Punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different, and the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol. And then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway as Bobby Terrell continues to lead here in the BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series, and Bobby has led, I think it's about 12 times here tonight, and what a better time at this point in the race to give a shout out to BNC Lawn and Landscaping for their coverage of the series. They've done a great job of supporting the league, supporting us in the booth, and all of LSRTV. So, and all the coverage is brought to you by them, and their mission is to deliver premium landscapes to commercial and residential properties. They're located in southern Delaware, providing services to the Sussex County or country region. And if you have any landscaping needs, you can call them today at 302-381-6073. Again, that's 302-381-6073. So while we take a look at that, we'll look back at Seth the Merchant. Oh, goodness gracious. Christian Peterson and Justin Michael fighting for position. I was talking to Seth earlier before the race, so that's why I had it in my mind. So don't give me up. But wow, look at the crossover by the 87 here. What a move by him to cross back over Christian Peterson. Christian Peterson looks like he has been struggling just at least a little bit on this run, but these guys have been fighting for quite some time. But Justin Michael had been on his bumper for a few laps, and it was time for him to go, and he went.
Well, right behind them, we have a pack of 4 cars right now, and one of which is on the completely incorrect line. Well, never mind. I was about to say, one of which is completely out of the draft, and that was the 88, but Tommy Ryan moved up, so I decided to not. But now it's a bit reversed. We have 4 cars within, well, pretty much under a blanket, if you will. Tommy Ryan going to be making his move on Jamie Walker. A little bit of a wiggle, it looks like, coming out of turn number 2. Does manage to keep it straight, though, about half a truck lane between the two right now as they go down the back straightaway into turns number 3. Move Tommy Ryan up to 7th position. And of course, I believe next in sight is going to be Aaron Bennett for Ryan, at least. He's going to be on top of the back bumper, pretty much right on it, right in that draft as Tommy Ryan poking out just a little bit just to make sure he can get that run to the outside. Maybe going to get to the outside. Nope, not in time.
And Aaron Bennett has made a thrilling run to the front of this field, going from 22nd to 6th. And to be honest, I think he's trying something he doesn't normally do. We've talked to him on time and time again about how he likes to field strategize and such. And he said that he almost always likes to run it until it's empty. Well, I can guarantee you, going from 22nd to 6th, I don't think he did that. And with the 6 kind of catching him right now, I believe it's the tire difference right now, which would mean that the 3 has older tires. So I think this is something that the 3 is not used to, is pitting early, but he's making the best out of it. But the 6 is going to be on his inside, probably going to make the move happen here in turn number 1. I think Aaron Bennett knows that, and tell you what, Tommy Ryan's going to have himself a great week this week coming up. He's going to be leading the 250 here on this coming Monday. Actually, the 3's coming. Yeah, it looks like behind them there's a big pack of drivers. I was caught me right as I was saying it, but there's a big pack right behind Robert Gillenwater as well.
Yeah, 2 passes happening at the same time. Scott Simley passing Jamie Walker, and where did Jamie Walker's momentum go? I'm honestly not sure, but Kyle Manger also passing Bob Gillenwater, so 2 positions in 1 lap. We pretty much have a little bit of a long line of cars right now, trucks, whatever you want to call them. 7 of them really strung out line, as you can see there. It's really amazing to see that happening. As look into the inside of Simley, but Gillenwater doesn't look like he's going to let that happen too easily.
Someone else we ought to look at is Scott Formosa. He's in the 2nd position behind Bobby Terrell, and that lead is getting smaller every lap, and it's not by a small margin, it's by a pretty big one. And when you start to look at the resume of Scott Formosa this year, it has been, fairly good. He's got a 2nd place, 3rd, and Gillenwater getting a little bit out of shape there, looks like. Yeah, so he's got the 68 on his inside, and he's gonna complete that pass. But talking a little bit more about Scott Simley, he's had some decent finishes. He's finished in the top 5 3 times and finished in the top 10 6 times, but has not won a race, and he's led just a mere few times this year. He actually led 40 laps at Chicagoland and finished 8th. So I think this is a big race for him, as he's still continuing to catch Bobby Terrell. He's being caught by Justin Michael right now, but it will be fun to watch. Definitely looking right now at the 25 of Kyle Manger as well. He had a big mess up there, I think, just in the entrance of 3. The 68 was able to get by him pretty easily, and then he's back to the clutches of Gillenwater here.
Yeah, it's something that we're going to have to watch, is the pretty much turns 3 and 4 overall as a whole, and the exit of turn 2, because, well, we've seen it a couple times. The exit of turn 2, you move up a bit too far, or your right front's a little bit more killed than usual, and well, next thing you know, you're in the outside wall, and that's just pretty much day done, at least for your right side, at least. Looking at, I'm looking at JRT, and just, of course, as amazing as it is, at least it shows lap times. He did mention, I remember, that Scott Simley, it looked like he did have a pit road problem, but his time is actually showing 15.5 in his total pit stop, as opposed to everyone's usual 14.4. I'm sitting up to 15.7, 15.8. So luckily for Scott Simley, his pit stop was just fine, but that gap has closed between Scott Formosa and Bobby Terrell from 0.5 seconds to 0.3, pretty much 0.33 seconds, 3.2, and it is now dropping as Scott Formosa is closing the gap to Bobby Terrell.
You can see that distance here, and you're using a pretty amazing tool over there of Joel Real Timing, and I think that's a good segue to talk about Joel Real Timing, because coverage of the United Sim Racing BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. And whether you spend time on the sim, behind the wheel, on the pit box, from the spotter stand, or maybe you're a commentator, maybe you're Gary Weaver, Joel Real Timing is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. You can get your basic download at joel-real-timing.com. You can also get the pro version there as well. Looking at Scott Formosa, he's getting close to Bobby out of turn number 4 here. He's got some momentum, gets a little loose out of the corner, but loose means it's fast, as they say, and the distance that Justin Michael was catching is not the same as it was. I thought he was going to catch him both here pretty soon. Actually, that's 4/10 that last lap, so Justin Michael's catching him. I think Scott Formosa needs to make this pass fairly quickly, or he's going to be making that pass at the same time as Justin Michael trying to pass him. Coming out of 2, and Formosa, this is not what he needs. He needs to keep that car straight. That truck got really loose, and he has to make that pass pretty soon, otherwise Justin Michael's going to be at him.
What he has to do though is be a little bit more. Well, who am I kidding? He probably wouldn't be up here if he was a little bit more careful. He's following Bobby Terrell. I was a little bit worried for a second. I thought Terrell was drifting up. So usually, I've known from personal experience, and it's really unfortunate. You're so busy focused on the guy in front of you that if they start to drift up, then you start to drift up. Next thing you know, you're both in the outside wall, and well, that's pretty much your, if you will, day almost done. And of course, these guys, every time they get so close to the wall, they're stressing me out. And I'm not even racing in this, but still, it's just, it stresses me out, to be honest. It's either the entry or the exit to turns 1 and 2. It's just nerve-wracking, but you can see how close Bobby Terrell was pretty much, or sorry, Scott Formosa, I'm never getting that right, that's pretty much close to the gap, about a truck length or half a truck length right now. I'm pretty sure I said trunk once again, but you know, better the truck, that actually kind of works. And he's going to move to the high side as, I'm not sure, maybe he's trying to play a little bit of mind games with Terrell.
Trying to get maybe a big arc here coming into turns 1 and 2 as he's getting closer to the back bumper of the 14. You can see the difference right now. The 80 is going to try, maybe he gets a loose, but he's getting pretty fast. But you can see Justin Michaels just on the edge as well, right behind these guys. Just also want to mention Christian Peterson came down pit road on lap 43 last time by, so he is going to be trying something different. I don't think he can make it on one more stop, as some of these guys are going to try that here. I guarantee they're going to try that. So Scott Formosa goes down to the bottom to try and get some momentum. He's going to go back under the top and try and break it, but I feel that Justin Michael is going to have the biggest benefit out of any of this, just because he's got the best tires out of any of these guys, as they're all under 0.3 of a second within each other.
You know what Justin Michael should do? He should just stay back and watch this. This is entertaining, to be honest.
I don't know if he's going to, though. He's got a huge run.
No, he's going to move to the outside. Nope. Wow, right to the inside. Goodness, I didn't even know where it was going. I forgot.
Where's Terrell going? I think he's going to maybe come to the pits. With the way he's showing.
Maybe he's trying a new line right at the last moment.
Yeah, looks like he's going to shade the pits here.
Yeah, Formosa as well going.
And this is a little early, I think, if you're going to try and make it the rest of the way on fuel. So Bobby Terrell comes down pit road, leaves Justin Michael out there. And wow, at this rate, they'll have to make 2 pit stops. And I think you might as well come a little earlier than later, but that is not happening between those two. The 14 and the 80, they come down pit road. Any other takers? Looks like they're the only 2 right now, is Justin Michael in the 87. He comes down, or Justin Michael stays out. I've been really bad with names tonight. So the driver was...
Bobby Terrell overshot his pit stall just a bit.
Ooh, that's not good, so...
I'll do a pit lane comparison at the very least, because that's definitely is going to show the difference as opposed to pit stop times, as well, as his track position doesn't show that enough. Scott Formosa beats Bobby Terrell off of pit road. How exactly? Well, that costed Bobby Terrell... Well, Scott Formosa had 39.9 seconds. Bobby Terrell had 41.2 seconds, so that's on pit road total. That's how much it cost Bobby Terrell, just from that small mistake.
And you're riding on board with Justin Michael right now, and you can see the difference. He's in between both those drivers right now. And so, if that doesn't show you right there the big difference that just happened on pit road, I don't know what will. But what I think is going to be fun to watch is to see when Justin Michael actually comes down pit road. If he's able to secure another couple of laps, I think he's got a really good strategy. Now, this permits the whole race going green. I don't know if I foresee that, but we have been green the whole race so far, and they are kind of spread out, at least at this moment. The only thing I think could happen is if we get some really intense racing and it's just a racing deal happens, or maybe a big mistake at a driver. But these guys don't make those kind of mistakes typically, so we'll have to keep watching that. So Justin Michael, he needs to make it at least 1 more lap. I think he could save at this rate once it comes down to the very end of the race, if it goes green all the way. But he's the driver I'm watching, because he's 3 seconds in front of Michael Atkins Jr. Michael Atkins Jr. does not show that he's coming in right now. Neither does Tommy Ryan. Neither does Scott Simley. The drivers all behind him. And actually, look at Jamie Walker. He's got fresh new tires. That's why he's so fast. He's going in the inside of these guys. And I think Jamie Walker might have pitted a little too early as well, as pit cycles once again rolling on through.
That's perfect timing as well, as we're slowly yet quickly closing it on our halfway break. Usually, not real well in a way, but I'd say we do it after, because if we do it during the halfway break, you're just going to see the ticker going, the score, I should say. Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of driver swaps. So probably about lap 55 will do it. So it's close, right?
Yeah, it's,
Here comes
it's
Justin.
relatively. Yeah, here he comes down pit road. This is on his lap 49 coming to 50, so right in the middle. He might have to save a lap or two if this is at the edge of his fuel, and you'll see the 6 come down as well. You'll see, oh, there goes Michael Atkins Jr. in the inside wall. No.
And that's another Jeff Gordon. Oh, no, 93 as well.
He faded through him.
Rich
He faded
Jet.
through him. Rich Jetty faded through him. Oh,
And I just break too hard and
yeah, he was. I think he was afraid he'd come back up the track. But yeah, we've seen a lot more pit entrance issues than we've ever seen in the past. Now it makes sense because of the tire wear that these guys are doing. But I think Jetty's gonna go right through his. Yep, he's got to back that car up. So not good for him as he's actually mixed right in. So we're gonna see a replay of what happened. We're on board with Rich Jetty right here coming down pit road, and look, he looks fine right here. And all of a sudden that car just turns
Q had to back up.
left.
And the Q had to wow.
Perhaps he shifted. I can't hear the audio on that, but perhaps he shifted, and that's so weird. It doesn't look like rear brake lockup. That just looks like he might have shifted it into second or first on accident. I don't know. We'll have to see what happened. Well, might have to take a second look at it later. But in the end, that's bad for him. Good for a lot of other
Kyle
drivers.
Menger overshoots his pit box as well. And he was running second at the time as well. Oh man.
A lot of pit road issues. This is going to make or break a lot of drivers' races. And that's, just, in my opinion, a really interesting way to see how this race unfolds. Discipline down pit road, definitely the defining factor of this race, at least at the moment, as Joe Hudson currently leads right now. He's going to probably come down pit road this next time by. And then Christian Peterson will be the first driver after him to inherit the lead. Peterson finds himself right behind. You can see that in the camera. And the 42 is going to come down pit road this time by. So Christian Peterson, he'll lead his first lap of the night actually right here. So right about the halfway point, and we'll wait a few more laps before we start going through where everyone's at, because it's going to get confusing still if we go through it right now. But next driver in line is going to be Scott Formosa. Formosa pit way later. I mean, and by way later, I mean multiple laps after Christian Peterson. So Formosa should have the advantage here, whether he has the ability to keep his tires on his truck. That'll be fun to watch too.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. And oh, you're right. I'm looking at, again, JRT as usual, and I'm just seeing red and green pretty much for an amount of pretty much the entire lap of everything. I'm seeing positions swap from 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. So, yeah, it will be just a bit confusing. So, lap 55 is a perfect time, I'd say. So, of course, like you said, Christian Peterson in the lead right now. Scott Formosa, I believe he was a little bit, I'd say pushing it maybe, but not really pushing it, because he was losing out of pretty much every single corner, every lap. But for him, that's apparently a good thing, so because he still managed to close the gap as well to Bobby Terrell, who ironically is actually a little bit of a distance back. He's entering turns 3 right now, so these guys pretty much about a corner width apart.
Well, I'm really kind of, I mean, he only had 2 seconds in front of him whenever they came out of pit road. Now it's a much larger deficit for Scott, or for a much larger deficit for Bobby between those two drivers. So we expect Scott Formosa to catch Christian Peterson before this one's all over. And I expect Scott Formosa only have one more pit stop, as I think Christian Peterson will have 2. And here comes the number 2 of Michael Atkins Jr., who just hit the inside wall in pit road. Now he's a lap down, but his truck doesn't look that damaged. But it is surprising to see him go in the inside and pass him just for the fact that I didn't think he had that much fresher tires. So it does concern me that maybe Scott Formosa isn't going as fast as he could, but that might also be to save his tires. Scott Formosa has been in this position before. He's finished some races where he's had the advantage at the end and just has not been able to get it done. Remember, he finished 2nd place earlier on in the series, and that was at Phoenix. So not even close to a track like this, but he's been in this position before.
Yeah, it's definitely better to see him save his tires now, especially. I'm pretty sure, though, maybe from earlier when he was getting loose and actually catching Bobby Terrell, but he was getting loose pretty much, like I said, every corner. Maybe that was a little bit of an experiment. So, and he's going to get loose again, I believe, but maybe he was just experimenting to see what he could do later in the race if it did come down to that.
Looking at a good battle here between Jamie Walker and the 3 of Aaron Bennett teammates fighting side by side for position. That would have been a fun battle to watch if they were racing for the lead right there, but it wasn't. And Jamie Walker will slide on the inside, and he'll take that top 5 position away from Aaron Bennett. So Aaron Bennett slides outside of the top 5. Well, his teammate, he now fits in, and Jamie Walker, he said earlier he had lost a lot of momentum, and he may have it back for the time being. Thing is, I'm still saying the pit strategies right now are going to unfold, and we're going to see exactly what they have probably around lap 75 or so, as we're still getting some drivers coming down pit roads. It looks like Herring's coming down. He's 5 laps down, so he's probably just taking the fuel to the max so he can maybe get a few laps back as it stands right now. I think this is a good time to go through your midway race break presented by iRacing, leading online simulation. iRacing has been developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. And in the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, GRC, Global Rallycross, and many more. Christian Peterson finds himself at the top of the mountain, with Scott Formosa railing him in off the tire strategy at the moment. Justin Michael finds himself in the 3rd position. Still been there basically all day. Bobby Terrell had a pit road issue, finds himself in 4th. Jamie Walker is trying to reel him back in 5th. Aaron Bennett is in 6th place. Tommy Ryan finds himself in 7th. 8th place is right now Scott Simley. Robert Yellowwater is in 9th. And in 10th place, John Jenkins.
11th is going to be Kyle Manger after starting 17th, so luckily a good 6th place increase. Dwayne Dunn, unfortunately, not on the good side of things, as he has dropped 6 positions from his original start position in 12th. Shane Hawther is going to be 13th. 14th is going to be Rich Jett, and 15th is going to be James Nunn. George Hendricks is going to be 16th. 17th is going to be Michael Priester. Michael Atkins Jr., 18th. I believe I said the wrong position for either Hendricks or Priester, but nonetheless, Joe Hudson is going to be 19th, and he's going to be close. I believe he's actually back on the lead lap right now. John Woko is going to be 20th. He is one of the first cars 1 lap down.
I don't know if I can blame you for putting the Michaels on wrong positions, but that I've done that before, so no big deal. Ralph Vandervoort finds himself in 21st. Matt Mara is 22nd. Jeff Ryan 23rd. Greg Mall, not a good night for him so far as he's trying to get the chase, 24th. Brian Cutts. Chris Cabot also needs to try and maybe figure a way to turn this thing around, as he will probably lose his position to Christian Peterson, which is the chase position. Michael Warren is in 27th, Steve Herring 28th, Randy Oakham's 29th, and Lewis Robinette finds him in 30th. So that's been a look top to bottom at your iRacing midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities, you can visit iRacing.com to sign up today. And thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership and use the promo code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your career on iRacing for 3 months for only $5. That's promo code PR-GRC for new members only. The lead between Scott Formosa and Christian Peterson, well, it's non-existent. Peterson came down pit road. Scott Formosa, he's staying out. Now we see the two different strategies playing out. I don't think Peterson's strategy is going to play out here. If Scott Formosa can stretch his fuel 1 extra lap here this time by, or a couple laps this time, this pit stall, or gosh dang it, two laps this pit cycle, and then 2 laps at the end of the race.
Well, I was about to say, I'm seeing something really familiar happening right now. And, well, okay, so yeah, I still am. Scott Formosa, Justin Michael, and Bobby Terrell, they are all 3 opposite positions, unless you're Justin Michael, of what they started. Scott Formosa started 3rd, Michael started 2nd, Terrell started 3rd. Sorry, Terrell started 1st. The only positions that have changed are Formosa in 1st and Terrell in 3rd as of right now, as Greg Mall gets his lap back in the old-fashioned way. Of course, well, one of his laps back, I should say. He's now up to 1 lap down, and unfortunately for Chris Cabot, he has decided to call it a night. 4 laps down. It's going to be marked to 5 as Formosa crosses the start-finish line right now. Really unfortunate for Cabot, but Of course, it was just as soon as that incident on pit road happened for him, that pretty much set his night in stone.
As we round lap 63 this time by, it's really fun to watch these battles start to take place with the tire strategy, and the 87's got the tires. He's going to look to the inside of the 80 of Scott Formosa. There should be an easy pass for him, but nonetheless, it's a pass. 87 slides in on the inside, is able to clear him easily, and here comes Scott Formosa coming down pit road. I'm thinking this is a little early, but he's going to come down pit road anyways and come down for service. So the number 80s gives up the lead to Justin Michael, Bobby Terrell, and everyone else, and this will be, I think he's still got to take one more pit stop, and I think now between himself and Christian Peterson, I think Peterson has a huge advantage over Formosa, at least right now.
Yeah, for now it's definitely appearing that way, but Tommy Ryan, 9th to 3rd, he's currently 6 positions up from his starting spot. He has been pretty much sitting in the top 5, top 10 for, well, literally the entire race, if you will. And I'm looking at the field, and thankfully, well, okay, I was about to say, he was getting passed by, Tommy Ryan was getting passed by John Jenkins. I was worried for a second, but nonetheless, Tommy Ryan's still in 3rd. I'm looking at the field right now. It's as of the start-finish line results. 15th on back is 1 or more laps down. No, that's not from cautions. That is from pit stops. That is almost a good thing to see, so long as you know it's only from pit stops and not cautions. Then in that case, you can breathe a sigh of relief and just be glad. But if you're on the upper end of this, if you're, say, the 14th place of Joe Hudson, then you should be a little bit worried, as Scott Formosa is now out of pit road, coming across the start finish line. He is currently in what appears to be 13th position.
Well, we're at a point in the race right now where the strategies are starting to mush together, and it's not really clear what exactly in some regard is going on, because you've got some guys starting their pit cycles while others are still in the middle of them, and some drivers are starting them when others are ending their pit cycle. So while we are continuing to monitor that, I think this is a good time for us to kind of reanalyze and get our facts buck straight. And we'll be right back here on LSRTV here at Michigan International Raceway. You've been watching the BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series here at Michigan. We're back live here at Michigan, and we're watching Scott Simley try and get the position back to Tommy Ryan right in front of him. Scott Simley being in third position, Tommy Ryan being in second. This is 4.5 seconds, actually a little bit more than that, off the leaders. Good shot right here in the front bumper. The hood came really close for Scott Simley. He knows the distance he needs to make sure he stays away from with Tommy Ryan, and he's able to get really close to him, but he gets a little loose off the middle of the corner, so his run's not going to be as strong. He's also got one driver behind him, Steve Herring. He's got fresh tires, but I think he's laying off just a little bit to let this battle continue, as they are still fighting hard in all these laps. So lap 65 out of 100, and we have gone caution-free all race long. Gary, you see that changing anytime soon?
Did you say lap 65 out of 100?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Lap 71. I was on it. Yeah, I can't count apparently. But yeah, lap 71. Actually, Scott Simley is making the power move to the bottom, and the 6 is going to let that happen. Just tires is, these guys can't compete with tires. It's really difficult for them to do that. So he's going to be able to get around him. And yeah, do you think these guys, back to my original question, do you think these guys will be able to go green flag the whole way like they did at Charlotte?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. That just depends on if everyone plays their cards right and they know what they're doing at the right moment. If they know whoever's around them, then in that case, yes. And if they make the moves correctly and at the right time and not sporadic or just moving all over the place, then yeah, they can definitely make it. But it's going to be even more interesting to see if some people, like you said before the break, some people are just on completely different pit strategies. So we may be seeing the third pit stop by some of these guys, maybe not, but that's all slowly coming to a close, and we'll definitely find out in about almost 35 laps.
I think we're going to see
within 25 laps. I was about to say,
I think we'll see Justin Michael come down this time or next time by, because he's trying to divide the race into fourths. He had the first half or the first quarter, which he came down right around lap 23, 24. He came down lap 49, lap 73. If he's basically doing the same thing he's done all race long, he'll come down this next time by, which is, I've been monitoring his strategy and Christian Peterson's strategy, because Justin Michael is pioneering this long race strategy of 3 pit stops, lap 25, lap 50, lap 75. That's what the strategy is. And then I've been monitoring Christian Peterson's, which is every 20 basically. So 20, 40, 60, 80. Peterson still has one more pit stop, and so does Justin Michael. And so when you look at how far away Christian Peterson is, he's 27.76 seconds behind. That's a long time. Now Justin Michael, he'll come down pit road one of these times, and I think I called it, guys. He's coming down pit road. It's almost like it's part of the strategy. So Justin Michael comes down this time by. He barely makes it across the cone at the right time. But that's going to erase that lead he has on these other drivers. And it looks like he might bring some guys with him. No, I think Tommy Ryan actually stayed out there with Scott Simley. So they're going to go an extra lap or more.
That's going to be interesting. Looking at the gap between Michael and Peterson for JRT, it's a little bit. There it goes. Yep. And the gap is now gone. So I believe Pearson has just made his way by. Yep, so is Scott Formosa. Rich Jetty has made his way into pit road as well. So is Michael Priester. So is Michael Atkins Jr. Both Michaels coming down pit road. So is Rich Jetty. So Justin Michael out of pit road right now. 15.8 seconds was his pit stop, as Scott Simley and Tommy Ryan also come down pit road.
Now here's the thing, Justin Michael should be able to make it to the end on fuel. Now does he have the tires, and does he have the strategy to beat everyone else? So that'll be the big question as you're watching the 6 of Tommy Ryan. He's coming down this time by, and do believe Scott Simley still out there on the speedway. Actually, he's come down pit road too. So those two drivers have come down, so there's no issue there. And so you're watching the number 80 of Scott Formosa get by Christian Peterson. That's a pretty important battle because of the fact that they are on some similar strategies, and the 23 is not giving up. Back down to the inside. He's going to try and make it worth his time to try and get by him, as 80 is going to be on the outside here in turns number 3 and 4. And I'll tell you what, I think if you're a driver in these trucks, I don't know if you've driven these trucks here recently, but oh, Peterson with a big slide. Wow, that was really that was amazing to watch. Would typically like to be on the bottom in turns 3 and 4, but Peterson, he didn't get the advantage because he did slide a little bit. So for most, it's gonna be the outside in turn number 1. That's where I like to be here in this racetrack, is on the top. But he really pushes that truck in there. I don't know if it's gonna be able to stick. He's gonna come out of turn number 2 with not as much momentum as the 2 drivers behind him, but he does get the position by a long shot. And Peterson put a huge block on Michael Warren right there, and Warren just completely backed off. He's 6 laps down. Peterson doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
I don't think Warren has anything. I don't think Warren wants anything to do with it either after that.
Right.
Then again, he is making his way to the outside, so he's saying, all right, well, if I can't pass on the inside, pass on the outside. Then hello, Christian Peterson and Scott Formosa both coming to pit road. Here comes Peterson diving it in. Wow.
That was fun to watch.
The question is, where are these guys' pit stalls? Is Pearson's before Formosa? Well, okay, well, Pearson's going to back off a little bit. Never mind.
And Peterson gets into a stall. Formosa's coming down, and this is the final stop for them, I'd say. This is their 5th or their 4th stop of the night, as they've divided the race into 5ths, and so that should roll the lead over to Justin Michael eventually. But Bobby Terrell currently leads. He is going to be ahead by about 6 or 7 tenths that last time by, and so watching that battle at pit road, Peterson actually won that battle over Formosa. So Formosa came in first and Peterson came out first, so definitely not fun if you're a part of that battle and you didn't get the good end of it. So yeah, looking back at where the lead's at, Bobby Terrell, he's going down in turn number 1. Watching Jamie Walker behind him, he's about 1 second off of him. And then Aaron Bennett should be somewhere behind that as well, about 2.6 seconds. So all these strategies here in the next 10 or so laps, they're going to finally align, and we're going to see exactly where everyone's going to be at. If you're pitting now, or if you're pitting anytime soon, you got to pit here in the next couple laps. Otherwise, at least in my opinion, you've kind of wasted the opportunity to get fresh tires and make the best of them, because you could have pit earlier or something like that. But I think we're seeing maybe the last pit stop for appears to be Jamie Walker coming down pit road, as he is coming down similarly to the 20, 40, 60, 80 strategy, as I was talking about earlier. Then you've got, well, I think he's got to hope and pray, because I don't think this strategy is going to work out for him, at least now where he's pitting, as he came in 6th place earlier on. So starting to look throughout the field right now, Bobby Terrell currently leads still. And then, well, where is he at? He's on the backstretch going to turn number 3. And then you kind of start looking for Justin Michael, start looking for Christian Peterson. There's a big gap between those 2 drivers, and there's a big gap between Bobby Terrell and those guys on that strategy. So this is fun. 20 laps to go here with Bobby Terrell across the start-finish line, as Haley his 29th lap this time by. Number 3 is coming down pit road as well, and he's going to have to, I think, hope a little bit as well.
He'll be joined by John Jenkins in the 91 as well. And of course, the pit stop times between Christian Pearson and Scott Formosa. Pearson had a 15.0 pit stop, so basically just 15 seconds on the dot. Formosa had a 15.6 second pit stop. Well, that's pretty much nothing on track right now, as they're right beside each other, going down the front straightaway. Formosa going to use that draft as an advantage. That car in front of him, that is Shane Hoffer, actually, also on the lead lap in the 11. Haven't seen him all night.
Here comes Bobby Terrell down pit road. Sorry to cut you off, but that's right. A really important thing, because this will be huge for him, as he's got to really make sure this pit stop counts. I was talking about those other guys maybe pitting too late. I think this might be one of those deals as well, but he has to come down pit road at least at some point. Probably took the tank till it was dry. He's going to make his way all the way down to the end, because he does have the pole. Or he did have the pole early, so he's going to have the most preferred pit stall. I think he got into his pit box a little slow, but I think with the way it's been this build, it's been really difficult to get used to. So it gets in the stall nice and clean, as we're riding along Scott Simley, who is in the 2nd position. And got to wonder if he's ever going to come down pit road again. I think we saw him pit earlier, and I don't think it's going to be something he's going to do, at least at this point. So, or he pit not too long ago. That's right, I remember now. But Justin Michael will lead the charge in the number 87. That's going to be 0.14 or 1.4 seconds in front of him. Definitely be fun to watch how this transpires, because Scott Simley pit 1 lap later, which means he has 1 lap fresher tires. Actually 2 lap fresher tires, I think. So is that going to be the difference between Scott Simley's first win in the series? Oh, looks like we got a driver in the wall. It's going to be the... Oh, for a Brian cuts Galloway. Ooh, that was close.
Jeez, well, the L4 having problems once again, and same situation, just coming out of turn number 2 and hits the outside wall, manages, well, actually, no, he stayed off the wall. Turn 2 went in the middle of the back straight. He just got into the wall, so I'm not sure if something broke or he just lost control or hit one of the bumps on the track or something. Manages to get off and nearly somehow manages to avoid everybody diving down to the inside. That was a close call.
Yeah, and Greg Mall didn't lift. I looked at the in-car, and if he had a foot, if the virtual driver had a foot, it'd be still mashing the gas. So Greg Mall did not falter, but he's got some hungry drivers behind him. He's got Scott Simley in second behind him, and knowing the way Scott Simley is racing, he'll race him clean. But I think there's a point as a lap down driver where you're helping a driver with the draft, but you're also not helping him throughout the corners, as Scott Simley is clearly faster at this point with the damage that the number 12 has. So he's going to get himself out of the way, and Scott Simley is going to attempt to try and hunt down Justin Michael as he has some fresher tires. And look at the slide by the 68. They get right in front of the 12. The 12 knows why. Probably isn't, exactly thrilled about it because, well, those two are actually fighting for position behind him. Greg Mall needs every position he can get right now, and the 10 of Jeff Ryan just took one away from him. And, oh, big slide out of the number 12 right there in the bottom, but, every position matters to him, and that's one lost.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He's got the draft. Jeff Ryan has the draft in his advantage, though, right behind Scott Simley and Greg Mall, of course, with that. It looks like a little bit of right front damage by the looks of it on Greg Mall's truck. Yeah, just the smallest bit can hurt your aero to a certain extent. Even if you don't think it will, it does. And unfortunately, Greg Mall is getting that example made right now. As Justin Michael, of course, has maybe his own problem. Joe Hudson, there he is. That little very familiar looking truck, that Square D sponsor. Goodness, memories of that and pretty much anything else that I've seen. He's going to be going to the inside of Justin Michael, probably just for fun, and closing in the gap. 1.3 seconds separates Scott Simley and Justin Michael.
Tell you what's fun to kind of notice here is that the lap car of Jeff Ryan is almost in a way helping out the 68. He hasn't passed him, but he's only been on the back bumper, almost like he's pushing him like super speedway style. Now the opposite's happening with the two drivers in front. Justin Michael's going to be able to use the draft of the 42 to his advantage, as the 42 is actually faster. Now, I don't think it's going to help for that long, as the 42 should be able to pull away in a relatively fast pattern, but it is going to start helping him out. And if Scott Simley is able to cut this lead down a 10th per lap, he should be at him on the final lap of this race, and he takes him down by 2/10 that last time by. So 13 laps to go, and we could possibly see a new winner this series if Scott Simley is able to catch Justin Michael. But I am getting a little worried about Jeff Ryan. He's getting awfully close to the 68 here, and I'd hate for anything to happen for either of those guys. But Scott Simley trying to get his first win on the season. We talk about how Scott Simley has been so consistent in seasons past. He got the championship last season and basically dominated the postseason, and he has not dominated any of the regular seasons that I've noticed him be in, including this one. And that's just kind of the Scott Simley way.
The gap last time around was 1.12 seconds. Right now it's right now it's actually under a second, 0.9 seconds, and closing 0.8 seconds. So looks like I believe Jeff Ryan has decided to back off and just let Scott Simley go at it right now. I believe Simley's been pretty much in the top 3 the past, at least the last race that I've done at, I believe it was Kansas. It was in the top 3, almost made it, then not so much. Of course, it was 2 weeks ago, so I'm honestly not sure. Justin Michael, though, trying to keep the gap as far as he can, but right now it doesn't seem to appear right. Doesn't seem to be going his way. 0.82 seconds right now, so it's either a 10th or 2/10 every single lap that Scott Simley will be able to catch up, and we're only at 11 laps to go. Again, well, in some ways to me, where did this race go exactly? We'll be wondering that at Homestead as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there's really only one battle you're going to watch right now. I mean, there's Jamie Walker and Bobby Terrell. They're fighting for position with Aaron Bennett. Rich Jetty's kind of in that mix. But I don't think it matters as much as this one up front, even though it's a much larger distance between the two guys, because Scott Simley is most definitely catching him. And to be fair, Scott Simley has wanted, I'm sure needed a win for some time in this series. I mean, he didn't win, I don't know how many races he won last season, but it wasn't many. But he still got the championship, which is great. But there's always a satisfactory thing about winning that race, winning one of these races. That's really coveted. And I know Aaron Bennett's always looking for one of those wins. I think the 80s have been Justin Michael's going to try and put the pass on the lap car instead of using it for draft. And I think this is going to be super helpful for him to try and get rid of that. And Scott Simley's going to have to try and do the same thing. Now, if you're that lap car, you don't have to do the same thing, which what you did with Justin Michael and allow him to use the draft, but you have to be conscientious of how you race the other guys who are on the lead lap, because that lead lap driver might feel like you've driven a little bit unfairly, but he's got around him, and I think he's kind of mended himself a little bit. I think he saved some fuel by being behind the 42. I think he's also saved some tire wear on that machine, because he did not lose that much that last time by, as we are under 10 laps to go here at Michigan International Speedway. Scott Simley he's trying his best, and he's on 11 seconds between himself and Tommy Ryan. So if anything is to happen, he has the ability to push the truck as hard as he wants to, and so does Justin Michael for that sake. They really, neither of them have anything to lose. They're both kind of locked into the chase as long as they run the next few races, but Scott Simley actually just lost a little bit of time that last time by, so it's the clock is ticking, and it's getting a little bit more bleak for Scott Simley. The laps start to roll on.
As true as that is, I'm not sure if it was, well, right now it appears to be a good idea for Justin Milo to drop Joe Hudson and pass him by, but that's going to give a slight advantage to Scott Simley, though, because now Scott has the draft, and well, Justin Michael's draft is about pretty much a corner or corner and a half ahead, which is another lap car. That's Michael Warren in front of him, but the closest person that Scott Simley has right now is that 42 of Joe Hudson. So like you said, it's been stuck there. The gap has been stuck there at 0.76 seconds, about 0.7 to 0.8 seconds. At least at the line, it's been to 0.7. Right now it's at 0.8. You can see it's just fluctuating depending on whatever part of the truck. Right now it's at 0.8. Didn't really exit the corner as well as he wanted, no doubt, but he's just, like you said, the only thing that he can do right now is push the truck as hard as he can.
I think we'll see it maybe with 5 laps to go. Maybe Scott Simley starts to put the wick on, but you also see the 34 right behind him. That's going to be the lap truck of George Hendricks, and don't know what George Hendricks is going to do, whether he's going to just sit behind or maybe by him being behind, it is going to make Simley faster. But that last time by, Simley was just a tad bit slower. Like we talked about, it's just kind of been back and forth, and George Hendricks, I think, wants to get by him. I don't think that helps if you're on the lead lap. And George Hendricks gets actually pretty loose right there, but I don't think it helps having anybody in your rearview mirror. I think maybe if you're Justin Michael, you can imagine that they're the second place driver and just try and drive away from them. Maybe psychologically you can psych yourself out and drive faster that way. But nonetheless, these drivers are getting to the end of this race fairly quickly. So far, no cautions. 5 laps to go. If the one were to happen now, would end the race, but that seems pretty unlikely, as Scott Simley once again puts it back in his favor with the gap. But like I said, unless something happens in the next couple laps, he's not going to have enough time to really execute one of these passes for the lead. He's just not going to have enough time. I think he's trying something different. I think he's trying the higher lane, and wow, I think he got a lot of momentum right here. I think
working.
Yeah, he got a lot of
seconds.
Yeah, he's catching him here. This is gonna be fun to watch. Maybe he's saving his stuff here. Oh my goodness, what a difference.
Closed it.
Holy cow.
Yeah, at one point I think he was just riding back waiting for that right moment, and I think he's waited long enough. Yeah, he's closing the gap right now. It's closing fast right now between Justin Michael and Joe Hudson. 4 laps to go this time by. Joe Hudson staying, he's going to get out of the way right now. I'd do that as well. That's a smart move, as Joe Hudson seeing, oh, hey, here comes Scott Simley. I'd rather move. And George Hendricks also, he's going to ride behind Simley, but this is going to be an interesting battle, as right now, well, it was 0.7 seconds, 0.8 seconds. At one point it looked bleak, and like you said, Austin. I almost said Aaron for some reason, but right now, 0.2 seconds, pretty much right on top. And this is good. Come down to be an interesting battle for the lead. I believe Justin Michael got a little bit loose in the corner there.
So Scott Simley, with just 3 laps to go, has started to put on the wick. Under 0.2 of a second. This is what you love to see here in the booth as a fan, as a driver. This is what you love to see at the very end of a race. A lead coming down to the wire with only a few laps left, and Scott Simley's trying to make the best of it. And Justin Michael, he wants to fend him off and get another win on the season. Scott Simley just wants to break that and get his first this season. So Scott Simley is going to look a little high in the corner. He's going to try and get some momentum. He's found it on the top side multiple times, and looks like he's going to lose a little bit right there in the corner, but he's going to have a good launch off. He's going to come down to the bottom, get the draft of Justin Michael with 2 laps to go here at Michigan. This is getting to become a thriller here towards the end. He's got to make the pass happen. Where does he make that happen? We'll just have to find out in the next couple laps here as they're rolling through turns 1 and 2, and the 68 is right there.
He is using that higher lane a little bit loose, I think, was Justin Michael. He twitched out just a little bit right in front. That's... If Scott Simley's going to make the pass, he has to do it now, or at least between now and the checkered flag when that flies, because that's going to be flying pretty soon here. As you can see the difference right there, just a lane up is Scott Simley. Coming out of turn number 4, it's going to be the final lap. George Hendricks there, probably going to help Scott Simley, and Simley's going to move to the bottom to the apron right now. So is Justin Michael's final lap. He's going to go to the high side. He's got the outside lane, just a nose on the top side of Justin Michael.
With the white flag displayed, Scott Simley's rolling on the outside of the 87 to Justin Michael. They ride side by side. Simley's going to have the advantage of momentum, but the 87 has the shorter distance to drive. They're going to be side by side on the back straightaway. And the 87, he's lifting.
Is he out?
I think you're right. He might be out of fuel. We'll have to find out, but he is dropping like a rock out of this race. And this is going to go to Scott Simley out of turn number 4 as Justin Michael runs out of fuel in turns number 3. A thriller, to say the least, here at Michigan. Congratulations, Scott Simley, on an amazing race here tonight. That was a fun 100 laps to cover. And Scott Simley gets it done at the end of the day. Wow, that was, I did not think that was going to happen, but Justin Michael, he didn't care how much fuel he had left in the tank. He was going to run it like he had a full tank, and that was fun. I think that it made it really fun for us to watch. I think he still finished second, but he finished 6.6 seconds behind. he was not saving, and I think Scott Simley taking those extra couple laps secured him this win.
Oh my goodness, Scott Simley made the move at the right moment. If Justin Michaels had ran out in front of him, then I think Scott Simley... Okay, I was about to say, I think Scott Simley's out, but no, he was just laying back. All right. So he does have enough fuel for a burnout, hopefully. I'm not sure. He's slowly coasting to the line, but oh my goodness. Scott Simley had timed that at the right moment. And of course, like you said, pit strategy played off really well. And if Justin Michaels had waited for probably at least 1 lap, as Scott Simley's going to burn it down here at Michigan, Justin Michaels had waited at least 1 lap. I'm pretty sure
he's out of fuel.
Oh, he's out. Well, never mind. Oh, wait, and you can see, wait, hold on. If we can, I believe, if I can find, get Cisco switch to the 88, because 88 is pushing the 87. Jamie Walker's pushing Justin Michael back to pit road.
Yeah, it's funny to see as they're still rolling into turns 3 and 4. What are teammates for, right? Just pushing you back to the pits there. So Jamie Walker finished 9th, and Justin Michael finished just a few corners too early. So
probably doesn't want to pay the expenses for towing. So
right, exactly. So Scott Simley, we'll go through your full results. Will win tonight's race in dramatic fashion. Really fun to watch. And Justin Michael, he finishes 2nd tonight. Great fight by both of them. Really fun to watch. Tommy Ryan finishes 3rd. Kyle Manger finishes in the 4th position. What a good race for him, finishing in 4th position. Then Christian Peterson rallies to 5th position after starting 13th. Scott Formosa fell to 6th place. Bobby Terrell, he eventually finished in the 7th position. Aaron Bennett went 22nd to 8th. That's one of our biggest mover. Actually, that is our biggest mover? Question mark. We'll find out at the end of the day.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, Jeremy Walker finishes 9th, with James Nunn finishing in the 10th position, right where he started.
Finishing 11th is going to be John Jenkins in the 91. The 93 of Rich Jetty, after some pit road issues, does manage to make it to 12th position. Michael Atkins Jr., unfortunately, on the bad end of his results, 8 positions down, finishing in 13th. Michael Priester and Joe Hudson, the 64 and the 42, rounding out 14th and 15th position. Robert Gillenwater finishes in 16th. Again, 8 positions down, 8 positions up. It's going to be Ralph Vandervorst. John Wilco finishes in 18th, and Dwayne Dunn and Shane Hawther finish 19th, and rounding up the top 20 is going to be Shane Hawther.
Matt Mara finished 21st, with George Hendricks finishing in the 22nd position, up 5 positions from where he started. Ryan finishes 23rd. Greg Mall did not have the night he wanted, went back a spot to 24th. Steve Herring finishes 25th. Michael Warren 26th. Brian Cutts finishes in the 27th position. Chris Cabell finishes 28th. Randy Yoakum would finish 29th. Tights Race 29th. And then Lewis Robinette will finish out your 3 truck field here tonight. What a thriller here, guys. And we'll talk to your top 3 simply Justin Michael and Tommy Ryan here in just a little bit. You've been watching LSRTV's coverage of the BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series here at Michigan. Be right back.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Welcome back to Michigan here tonight as Scott Simley has taken the checkered flag home tonight, and we will get to talk to him just now in victory lane. Scott Simley, you finally got it done this season and broke the mold of you are now a new winner of this series, and we haven't had that for some time. Talk to us about tonight's race and what a thriller it was at the very end.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, it was a fun race. We had a good truck. Didn't qualify exactly where we wanted, but just ran my pace and was looking like that was going to be our window. It was right within our window. Not driving too aggressive and saving a little bit, and just, it worked out. Finally get the monkey off the back.
With 5 laps to go, we saw a completely different charge from you. We saw you kind of catching Justin Michael, and all of a sudden it was gone. 4/10 all of a sudden out of nowhere just happened. Was that you realizing that you were good on field to be aggressive, or was that you just finding speed on the track with what you had?
I probably think it was more finding speed. I don't know. Just and knowing I was there on the mileage because I was still probably good. I didn't have much. I mean, I crossed the line. I think I had 2/10 or a tenth of fuel left, so I just coasted around. Yeah, it just worked out. It was man, what a lot of fun. It was just fun to get a win.
Defending series champion finally gets a win this season. I think it's been a while from you. I don't know when the last time your last win was, and I don't have the backlogs to check from last season. But I'm sure you know the last when the last time it was, but it's been a while for you.
It has. I'd have to go look too, but it's been too long. I just feel like we should be running at least the top 5 every week. Just having connection issue and just some stuff happen on the track that none of my doings either. But it's just like I said, it's good to have a good clean race.
Yeah, it definitely was the case because you guys had no cautions, and it was really fun to watch. So that's 2 races this season that we've had caution-free races, and that's some of the bigger tracks that you'll see. Michigan tonight, and then Charlotte was that one where Greg Mall took the checker flag. But before we let you go here, Scott, congratulations on your win, and who makes it happen for you on that number 68 machine?
Teammate Bobby Terrell. We're always working back and forth, and Joe Hudson, who's in the channel tonight, we're helping out, and just you guys putting on a good show as always. Family and friends out there if they're watching, and yeah, hope for some more green flag runs like this, and it'll look good come the chase. So,
well, when you go back and watch the race, you can tell it was really fun for us tonight, and I think we've had a lot of fun races this series, and this one definitely on the list of fun races for us. So we'll talk to you, well, hopefully for your case soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, there you have it. Scott Simley, he finishes tonight's race in the best seat possible, which is in victory lane. So we will move it down to that's Scott Simley again. So we'll move it down to Justin Mike, or move it to Gary, who's going to catch up with Justin Michael, who finishes second.
Justin Michael, you had a interesting race. You unfortunately finished coming out of pretty much in the middle. I'm actually not coming out of turn 2. You almost had it, but unfortunately you did run out of fuel. At least on the bright side, you started where you finished. Walk us through pretty much the entire race and along with those closing laps.
Well, I mean, I knew what we were going to do for fuel. I knew we were going to pit on basically lap 25 we'd be in pit road, 50 pit road, 75 pit road. But every time I knew that we were going to be short, we were probably going to run out on the backstretch, which is what we did. But I had about a 4-second lead there, coming out of that last pit stop, so I was just letting him catch up, hoping that would just save me enough fuel to get me an extra lap, or at least coming off 4, I'd run out and I'd have a shot. But yeah, I mean, he saved his fuel good. I mean, it's a good win for him. I'm not mad. I mean, we got second still. We ran up front a lot, so it's all good.
Yeah, you did an amazing job. It was really also pretty interesting watching you work with the lap cars as well, trying to use them to your advantage as well, saving fuel. Of course, we did go caution free. So did you think we have any cautions at all, or did you think we go caution free?
Well, it's hit or miss at this track. With as loose as it set up was, I figured we would get a yellow, but I was planning on not. But everybody drove a really good clean race, and it's a nice wide track, so everybody has a lot of room to run side by side here. So I mean, caution free is not surprising at a place like this.
That indeed is not that surprising. So, of course, before I let you go, for your second place finish, do you want to? Who do you have to thank? Friends, family, sponsors?
Yeah, just everybody out there watching, and Aaron for letting me on his team, and just for him for putting on the show. You guys for calling the race, and we put 511 Tactical on there, AR-15 as always, and just always got to support our Second Amendment rights, and hopefully everybody out there enjoyed the show.
Well, we up here definitely did. It was really exciting to watch. Congratulations on your second place finish here at Michigan.
Thanks, guys.
Well, normally at this time we would talk to your third place finisher, but don't know where he is. He's MIA right now, and we'll at least talk about him a little bit. He's going to be sitting pole for the Daytona 250 here coming this Monday for the Real Sim Racing, Full Throttle Cup, Real Sim Racing Cup Series, which I still said wrong, but close enough. But yeah, he gets a really cool opportunity, and first time that we've had a guy come in and sit pole for their first race in the season. So really cool to see tonight. Scott Simley pull that one, and yeah, he that extra lap, those extra couple laps he came down pit road later just meant everything. And Justin Michael probably could have coasted the rest of the way if Scott Simley wasn't there, if he still had that 10-second lead or so over Tommy Ryan. But the pressure made him push the car or the truck, and it was that was the big difference. And I said it earlier, and I didn't know if it would be true or not, but it definitely was tonight.
Yeah, it was amazing to see that Justin Michael fight off as if he pretty much, it was, if I can form words properly, that'd be great. It's been a long night, so.
Yes, it has.
It's been a long day, a long night. What I'm trying to say is, Justin Michael, it was amazing to see him fight off like he had enough fuel to make it to the end. That was the best thing and the best effort that he could do. It was props to him on that. So, especially with Tommy Ryan, starting in 9th, like you said, also starting pole, it's going to be really cool to see that. Of course, he started initially his 3rd place, so good 6 positions up, if you will. So, good to see him finish there, and it's amazing to see this race go caution-free as well.
Some races you like to see caution-free, some races you don't. This one was one of those races where I don't think at any point I thought it was like a little dull or anything like that, so it was definitely fun to watch. They'll have 3 races left on the season: Bristol, Darlington, and Indianapolis. Indianapolis definitely be one of those races you're gonna want to watch, because it's definitely not a walk in the park for these trucks. So you can keep up with everything BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series wise. I do believe they still have a website. I'll get that up here in a second, but you can catch up on everything with us, LSRTV, at livesimracing.com. You can look through all the action that we have in store for coming up this week. And I'm actually hearing that the website's still dead, so no website yet. That's why we can't look at the archives of last season and see when Scott Simley's last win was, but it's been a while. But you can go and take a look at our website. The Real Sim Racing League will kick off the Full Throttle Cup Series again for its full season, 30 out races, and that'll be fun to watch. So they'll kick off on Monday, and then we'll have some other races here this week. On Wednesday, we'll have some CEA action. Of course, Super Speedway Truck Series. Goodness gracious, we're messing this thing up, aren't we? Super Speedway Cup Series will be on Friday, like always, and then you'll have our double headers on Saturdays next week. So, from all of us here in the booth, I'm Austin Coop. He's Gary Weaver. Cisco Scummer's in the booth. Thank all of you for showing up tonight, and from all of us at LSRTV, we'll see you at the next track.